Throw up on the screen? Throw up on the screen?
No, I'm not. No.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay. Okay, we're now live.
Okay. This is John Schuyler, Chair. And I think probably the first thing we should do is take a roll call of the board members. Frank, do you have the, oh, I have the list here and see who's on.
Hello.
Hello, Carla.
Yeah, hi. I can't seem to get in. It goes to sign in for Teams, and then it won't let me put in the code. Oh, I don't know.
It sounds like you're in, Carla.
I can hear you.
Well, I can't. I know, but that's because I called the number Frank gave me.
Oh.
But I can't get in. I guess you'll just have to miss my beautiful face then.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to reopen Word here. I had to reboot about 5 times, it seems. Okay, we have Dan, correct?
Yes, I'm here. Danny Line.
Okay. I'm sorry, it's okay. Oh. I'm sorry, I can't seem to open up my my minutes quite so fast. Up there it is. Okay, Marcia?
Marcia Marion, I'm here.
Peter?
Pete Niedermeyer, I'm here.
Okay, Tim Egan? Okay, Martha? Carla? I know we're here.
Yeah.
Mark? Mark Aronowitz?
he's having trouble getting in. This is Frank Manelli. He's having trouble getting in. We're working on it.
Okay. I'm not sure that we have, do we have a quorum here, Frank?
Frank Manelli back. Okay, let's see. We have you, we have Marcia, we have Pete, we have Danny, and Carla. So yes, we have 5.
And we have Tim, if you didn't mention him.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't think I did hear Kim. Okay, wonderful.
Right,
Okay, first item of,
5.
okay. First item of business is to approve the minutes of the March 3 board meeting. Did everybody get the minutes?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have any, do we have a motion to accept the minutes, after which we will open up for any comments, additions, deletions, corrections?
This is Pete Niedermeyer. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
You missed your chance, Marcia. You might as well take the second.
I'm going to second that motion. This is Marcia Marion.
Okay, we have a motion on the table and a second. All in favor? I'm sorry, does anybody have any comments or corrections?
Not me.
Hearing none, all in favor say, oh, I think this will be easier if we, okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, this is John Schuyler again. I think forwarded any motions, I'll just ask for anybody who declines, because it'll be fewer people that have to mute and unmute. Okay. I'm going to defer on the comments or concerns of any person present today until the end, in case there's anybody else that's trying to figure out the chat, etc. For later in business, if that's all right. Old business, status of legislation. I believe that would be you, Frank.
Yes, this is Frank Manelli, manager at DCP Legal Division. And as we know, the legislative session has been, well, it has been postponed. I guess I don't know what exact term, but I did ask Leslie O'Brien, our legislative liaison for the department, and her response was that while not officially over, the legislature is not planning to reconvene to conduct business before May 6th, which is tomorrow. Which also, I guess that's also the significance was that's the end of that was the scheduled end of the session. They might go in on the 6th to officially close the session and call themselves into a special session, which Leslie says she's been told would be in June. If that happens, they may take up agency bills that are absolutely necessary, but there's no guarantee. So most of our proposals will have to wait until next year. So that's what I have for legislation.
Okay, understood. Does that apply also to regulation?
Well, that's the next item on business, and actually,
Okay.
This is Frank Rinelli still. I'm getting the impression that the fact that the legislature is out of session helps the regulations, because according to an email I got on April 21st from Jerry Padula, who's also in the legal division and works with on our regulations and tracks them. He said some good news on the regulations front. Certified public accountants was approved by the Office of Policy and Management and submitted to the governor's office for review. So that's actually gone forward.
But when you say, which one specifically is that when you say?
That was the entire package that we put in,
Okay.
which includes the change, which would allow continuous testing.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
I got to go
Frank,
back.
what was that again, please? I'm sorry. Jerry said that it's going through?
Jerry said that it had gone through and was approved by OPM,
Okay.
and it was been submitted to the governor's office for review, which was the next level of review as part of the process.
Thank you. Sorry.
So this is Carla Fox. I have a question. Let's say the governor's office reviews it in its spare time and approves it. Does it still have to be approved by the General Assembly, like at their summer meeting?
It's still, this is Frank Rinelli responding. I believe it's not the entire General Assembly. It's just it's a committee of them, legislative review, right. And the AG's office as well needs to approve it. So there are still a couple of steps to go after the governor.
Okay, thank you.
This is John Schuyler, the chair again. Are any of these committees still active during the lockdown, like by phone or Microsoft Teams or other possibilities?
This is Frank Rinelli, manager. I'm not aware that they are, but but on the other hand, a lot of areas in our society are doing such things. So, and I can find out. I could ask the question and find out. I don't have an answer. I'm not going to speculate.
Okay, understood. Moving on to new business. John Schuyler, the chair again. First item is CPA evolution. And I don't know if there's anything that is actually moved on that.
This is Frank Rinelli, manager. Actually, can I just go back to the continuous testing and under the old business?
You may.
Due respect, Mr. Chairman. Just to mention that because there was I just listened in on a call that NASBA had, and I know that we've been kind of going by the date of July 1st as being the key one, but we actually were told that the actual time that it's necessary to change any rules was actually late August, because that's when candidates would be getting their scores back. And NASBA said that they can allow testing and continuous testing in some jurisdictions and not in others. And we are actually ahead of even South Carolina. Apparently, South Carolina is the one state that is not at least in progress towards allowing it. So at least we're in good company with 9 or 10 other states that are in the process of changing rules. But also, we don't have to change anything until late August. So I guess we could put off doing anything or contemplating anything drastic until the July meeting to see what, hopefully, the regulations are going to be going through.
Fascinating. Yeah, it seems like things are moving much faster. We were at the back of the pack before everything was shut down, and now we're at the front of the pack. I don't know what that says. Okay, is that it, Frank?
It is for continuous testing, yes. And I do have some notes on CPA evolution. If
Can
you
I
wish.
just make,
Yes.
this is Marcia. Can I just make one note that Tim says he's on, but we can't hear him?
Oh dear.
Okay.
This is Mark. Can you see or hear me?
I just heard you, and now I can see you.
Okay.
Yep, there you are.
I can't.
I'm sorry, who else was on? I'm just waiting just a couple of seconds to see if Tim can come in, and after that we'll okay, yeah, I missed that last thing on the continuous evolution. Did anybody else tune in? I'm probably going to tune into the one on peer review on Thursday, the open meeting.
And this is Frank Brunelli, manager. I did listen in. I took a few notes. I'm not sure much has changed since the last time, although I can give the proposed model, as they said, this was NASBA put it together, including their chair, Lori Tisch, and the VP of State Board Relations, Dan Dustin. And the proposal is to have a core of accounting, audit, tax, and technology. Beyond that, what candidates can choose, or I guess actually even licensees can choose, which they're going to call disciplines. And right now they're going to focus on a choice of business reporting and analysis, or information systems and controls, or tax compliance and planning. They went into what that would mean for the exam and the universities, but the basic, if anybody's interested in that, I can try to answer that. But and then also impact on states. And they said there are 7 states, including us, that unfortunately have to change our regulations a little bit again, because we specifically named the exam sections in our regs. So we would have to take those out, since the names of the exam sections would change. But this month, the next steps are this month is the AICPA is going to officially consider it. And then between June and August, obviously through the summer, they're going to expose the recommendations at their regional meetings. And then the NASBA Board of Directors will consider it and vote. And then at the annual meeting, I guess it would be presented as well. And the plan is, and someone did ask this question, if COVID-19 is going to slow this down, and this is as of March 23rd, but the plan is to have the new exam and the new setup by January of 2024.
Oh, this is John Schuyler again. Did they mention anything about their position regarding the exam on government accounting?
This is Frank Brunelli. They did not at that meeting. No. This is on evolution. Now the ED update. Right. Actually, I don't remember. They didn't. I can look at my notes again. I don't recall that. That would have jumped out at me because we just made that comment.
Okay, very good. That gets us to unless there's any other comments or concerns or questions regarding CPA evolution.
Frank, this is Pete Niedermeyer, board member. Can you, with regards to this change you just mentioned, with regards to naming specific sections, is that something we can do now and get in process?
Yes, it is. We can. Although I guess my thought would be at least let the current ones go. Well, let me talk to our regs people and see what they would recommend. They're part of. They know this closer than I would. So I'll make a note of that.
I mean, I guess my only comment is I don't know, we always seem to get late in the year and then we're shut out of the legislation process or whatever we need to do. So I'm not necessarily saying that it has to be added on to what we're doing now, but I don't know if we can get it.
Yeah, I think it's too late to get it added. Well, let me just talk to the people who know the process better than I do. I would hate to make them say something that I don't know. But I have a question here. I will follow up and ask them.
All right. Thanks, Frank.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is John Schuyler, just to let everybody know, Martha just sent an email. She's able to see us, but she's not able to join in. Let's see, she could. Yeah, I'm sorry, she can't even get in. She's watching on the web. She can't, nothing happens when she clicks to join. She should be able to phone in though, correct? Frank?
Yes.
Jason?
That's what I did, Carl.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up having to do.
Okay, I'll just mention that to her right now. Okay, moving on. COVID-19, CPA extensions, examination extensions. Oh, sorry, John Schuyler, I have trouble remembering that too. I believe the last where we were is we voted to extend in reporting CPE. I'm sorry, the CPA exam or the other extensions. I can't quite remember where we are on that.
This is Frank Ranelli, manager. Yeah, nothing's changed as far as policy by NASBA as far as the exam. Although it was interesting because I sat in on as I said, on an executive director update, and it sounded like their policy. Let me see if I can get to my note here, because the board passed a policy that is basically will follow what the guidance is from NASBA. And it sounds like officially, here it is. The recommendation, this is from Colleen Conrad, who's the executive vice president and COO of NASBA, said that was the NTSs, the notices to sit for the exam were basically that any between April 1st and June 30th would be extended to September 30th. And then they said the credits that expired then, she said they were asking the boards what they wanted to do, how they wanted to handle them. Because I understood it, and maybe I guided the board incorrectly that it was NTSs and credits. Their guidance was to have any that expired then during the April 1st to June 30th to then be extended to September 30th, which is what we are telling people. But I guess the issue is since the other part of the policy was to basically kind of automatically change the board policy based on anything that the NASBA does, if they're not officially changing anything with the exams, that could be an issue. So I don't know what the board might want to say. I don't know. Go ahead.
This is just a comment. It seems to me that if the testing centers are shut down, which they are, that everything has to roll forward, including the expirations, because nobody can take any action that would finish everything else before any expiration came through. So I would have thought that would have been part of the NASBA policy, that everything rolls forward. Correct.
This is Frank Ranelli. No, I agree. That's the way I understood it and why I presented it that way at the emergency meeting.
So, okay, John Scott again. So do we, based on our prior decision in the emergency meeting, do we have to, in effect, reinstate that or refine it to talk about rolling forward the credits? Or can we let our prior action stand as is?
Yeah, I mean, better minds than mine. This is Frank Rinelli. Better minds than mine can also chime in, because I mean, my thought was that you should change it slightly, you know, maybe to the effect that, I mean, if NASBA does specifically make a recommendation on exam scores, then follow that. But if they don't, maybe have the exam score follow the NTS recommendation, which is kind of what was done with the current policy.
Okay, it's John again. I'm not one of the better minds, Frank. So bear with me here. So if we did something like vote to amend our board position of following all recommendations regarding the exams and the credits, expiration of the credits for the exams would be one option. Another option would be just that as long as everything's in lockdown, everything rolls forward as if those months didn't exist against the record. Would either of those work or something else?
I think this.
I'm trying not to overcomplicate things, and
right.
And if we could just come up with something that would cover what is going on, so that we didn't have to fine tune it as NASBA did it. And I think it would be grossly unfair to people that are in progress through the exam. When we get back and they've got the same, if they had the same expiration dates for previously passed exams, when they couldn't make any progress during that period. So, but that's my opinion. Anybody?
Yeah, this is Carla. I agree with you, John.
So I guess now we need a superior mind to come up with whether we have to pass anything at this point, or we can let it go as is for another meeting, I'm sure, because nothing, or we can expand and broaden our position here.
Frank, this is Pete Niedermeyer.
Yes.
On the first, when we voted last month or whatever, I thought the vote was to take it through September 30th, and then if NASBA had any extensions, we would follow those automatically. Is that the way we worded it?
This is Frank Rinelli. Yes, that is exactly how it was. That's how it was worded. But I guess then I just subsequently discovered that NASBA was being neutral on credits. Their recommendation just had to do with the notices to sit for the exam sections. So I was, and they specifically said they were leaving it to the boards to handle the credits. So I guess that since we're not making a recommendation on the credits, I guess just thought that the board should try to, if you wanted to try, or do something. But I mean, the board did do credits because the intent clearly was the credits from April to June to be extended to September. So that is not an issue. The question then is, if anything changes on the NASBA front, does the board want to do something so that the credits will shift as well, unless, instead of having to come back into session or wait till the next meeting or something along those lines.
Okay. I guess we can just leave this to the next meeting. Nothing's going to change anyway, because the September, I can't remember whether September 30 or October 31, but either way, we're going to be meeting before that change. So I could also live with taking no action at this point.
This is Marcia. I say we take no action because nothing's going to change before our July meeting.
Very good. Anybody else wish to?
This is Pete Niedermeyer. I would agree with that. I would go with no change until we next meet and see where things are
Okay.
headed.
I don't think we need to take a motion for that. So unless anybody has any, speak now or forever hold your peace, and otherwise we can leave that and put it on the next agenda for old business. Okay. Hearing no objection. I'm sorry.
This is Frank Brunelli. I'll be quiet. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just going to say, John said, hearing no objections, we'll move on to number 3, NASB Executive Director Conference Online.
Okay, this is Frank Brunelli. As I mentioned, I sat in on the April 16th NASBA Executive Director update, and let's see. Can I just say before I forget, because I will. We have received a few requests from candidates who are outside the April to June area, and it was too late to put them on the agenda, but I do have them. There were 5 or 6 of them, and didn't know at what point the board might want to consider those, if at all.
This John Schuyler, what exactly were their requests for extensions that precedes the lockdown, or?
Let's see, they're all for, they're all ones who's either going to expire, well, all going to expire outside of they're not covered by the current policy. So they were trying to, figure out what, if they could get extensions of some of their grades. One an extension of the NTS, which I can get to, but which I'm not sure is necessary. But I have one from this Catherine Tully, who's completing her exams, expire August 31st, 2020 is the most recent one. That's her regulation, and was looking for 120-day extension that I guess, and just, and then there's another by this Eric Roman's okay. He was able to get a seat. Another by a Michelle De Leon, who is, she has her NTS is expiring July 4th and is unsure what to do because cancellations of appointments and limited seating due to social distancing. There's no more availability before it expires in New York, all the surrounding states. Is there any way to get it extended? Hers extended to September 30th as well. Oh, and then she sent a note. She did get another date to sit, so I guess she's actually okay. Actually, yeah, and Eric Roman. No, I guess he's okay right now. And then I got this gentleman, Matthew Sackowitz. I've gone back and forth with him for a few times. He has an NTS that is expiring in July 2nd. Now he does not have an exam that is going to, exam section is going to expire soon. And it sounds like Prometric is going to allow you to reschedule at without an additional cause, but he still asked that see if he could get his NTS extended to, I would guess, September 30th as well. And then I got a Robin DiCello, who is her final. She's tried to pass FAR 3 times and may not be able to do it before the end of this quarter. And is wondering if there are measures taken to consider all candidates in a similar position. I've seen New York propose an extension beyond to December 31st. But anyway, yeah, not sure what her area, what particular section she's looking for. And then an Emily Brish, who has a credit expiring August 31st, and she's scheduled to take the exam May 18th, but the current circumstances doubtful that she'd be allowed to, and that is before that May 20th date that is following, and then this is no available dates until July 25th. So she's wondering if she can get an extension on her August 31st FAR. Actually, the FAR is what she's trying to pass, her BEC. So basically, if anybody, there are people that just fall outside the current policy. We're looking for an extension to, I guess, to follow the current, at least to get to the September 30th as well.
Well, personally, I think I'd be rather generous with that. I mean, if you have trouble getting seats after things open, and everywhere you go, they're going to have fewer seats. They can't have people close together. What's the negative? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think we've got to try. I mean, when people have legitimate issues, like we've got to try to be as accommodating as we can.
Yeah, John Schuyler again. Apparently, these people are giving a good college try to get seats. Some of them are getting them, some of them are not in time, and yeah, I just don't see any downside in protection of the public by being a little generous and basically allowing to September 30. But as you know, this is John Schuyler, which I should have identified myself, and I can't make motions.
Well, actually, this is Frank Rinelli. Just technically, the board needs to vote just to consider these first, and then
understood.
And then to do the specific.
But we don't have all 6. We only have 2 that we have to actually consider. Is that correct?
There are 2 grades, and then the rest are NTSs.
Oh, okay. Can I ask for a motion to consider these 6 requests?
This is Marcia. I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion second. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. I guess we've already had our discussion, so maybe if we can have a motion for a blanket motion to take care of these, it would be entertained.
What's the wording on that?
I was hoping you'd come up with that, Carla.
I'm hoping Frank would help me.
I think, given the difficulty of obtaining test positions and the natural delays, that we would provide for an extension, a blanket extension to September 30 for the requests given. Would that work?
Yes, for both their NTSs and for their grades, or yes, depending on the specific request.
But I can't make that.
Well, I can make it if we can figure out exactly what the motion is.
Oh.
Frank, you help out here.
Okay. In what's it? Just how flowery you want to get, but in light of the continuing COVID-19 crisis and the shutdowns and the delays and of ProMet at test centers, the respective notices to sit or NTSs and or grades extension requests are hereby extended or granted, and those NTSs and grades are extended until September 30th, 2020.
So moved.
A second?
This is
This is
Marcia. I'll
Mark.
second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Does any further comment? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, that was Carla moved first and
Carla,
Marcia second.
aye.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure how we do comments or concerns of any person present today on this, so.
The Q&A section is open for the public to type in any questions.
Okay. I would look to see if they were there myself, but the last time I had trouble getting back. Did we get any on the chat?
There were some anonymous comments earlier on. One says Connecticut CPA's GA&A group has submitted comments to the AICPA and NASBA regarding governmental accounting. Another one says we can request modifications when the regs are before regulation review. And the last one says expand and broaden position, please. It would be one less thing for others to worry about at this time. And I'm not sure what that was in reference to.
This is John Schuyler, Chairman. I'm sure that was probably in reference to, and I understand it, to the extensions, et cetera. Since we've got, I think we're set and covered for the full period now until the September 30. So, any other comments on that? Oh, and I will mention on the response regarding the government accounting, for whoever had put that in, I will make notice that the board also did comment on that, and the purpose of my question actually was to see whether there was any response related to comments from the.
Bonnie Stewart is saying she has comments regarding peer review. Bonnie, you may not speak, but you can type in whatever comments you'd like to share.
It's John Schuyler. Sorry about that, Bonnie. Okay. Is she perhaps typing right now? Can you tell?
No, she actually said the chat section has limited character count.
Oh. um, Does that mean multiple chats or?
I don't, it appears that she's not going to submit it.
Oh,
based
okay.
on-
We'll just have to work it out a better way next time then. This is John Schuyler, Chair. My apologies, Bonnie. Your input is always valuable to these sessions, so we will figure out something to do by, I believe, by the next meeting. Once again, we'll boot to better minds than mine, or at least more technical minds.
She just added, I'm participating in a closed AI CPA peer review board session tomorrow and wanted SBIA feedback.
Oh. Okay. I think I'll be, it's tomorrow. I think I'll be on that too, but I don't have any feedback. I'll be on it as a guest, so I presume if I have any comments for theirs, I'll have to type it in the chat room. Okay. Hearing none others. Any other items of new business that anybody would like to bring up? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn, and our next meeting is July 7th.
Hi, sorry. This is Denise Diaz with the licensing division.
Oh, yes.
I just had one item that can kind of wait, but I just wanted to bring it up only because it's going to become an issue thereafter. As far as the extension of the CPEs, I know that it was voted on for it to go out through the end of the year. So as of they have now up until December 31st in which to finish off their CPEs. But come January 1st, how are the late fees going to be accommodated? And are they going to be accommodated like we have them where they expire now, where it's the first 3 months is $315 for that late fee, and then the next 3 months it's $625. So are we going to do that coming into the next year if they're still late? It can wait to another agenda if you wanted to wait and think about that, but that's just something I wanted to.
Okay, this is John Schuyler, the chair. I just wanted to sort of repeat what I understood. So we have given an extension to December 31st, but is what you're saying is that we have not taken any action regarding the late fees, so they could in fact renew their license having finished their CPE on, say, October 31, but right now they would still incur late fees?
No, after
okay.
December 31st.
Oh, okay. So after December 31st, does the fees start anew there, or would it be as if they had start right off at the 600? Is that correct then?
Well, what I'm saying is, had the extension not been in place, if anyone that didn't finish CPEs as of June or July 1st would incur a late fee if they've completed CPEs between July 1st and September 1st of $315. And then from September 1st or September 2nd through December 31st, if they had not completed even at that time period, it's $625. Are we then going to continue those late fees if they don't finish by December 31st and they go into January, February, and March and they haven't done the CPEs? Are the late fees going to be applicable for the next?
Okay, I think I understand. Maybe we should put that on, so you should think about it, but.
Yeah, I was going to say that could be done for another, there's time for that, but I just wanted to put that out there because it's something that it's going to eventually have to come up
and
be in place and implemented.
Understood. Thank you, Denise. Can we put that on the agenda for next time, Frank, unless anybody would like to discuss it and try to deal with it now?
This is Frank Rinelli, manager. Yes, we can put that on the next agenda. I made a note to do that.
Okay, and Sean, so given the way everybody is kind of learned how to do things more remotely, I suspect we probably won't have as much problem with people being able to get their CPE in on time and
Right.
as we originally thought. So, but it's a good point. We don't want to deal with it after the fact. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now I'll go back. I'll entertain if nobody has any further thoughts or any new business. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is Mark Aronowitz. I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Marcia Marion, I'll second it.
Okay. And until next time, when we will probably be on the, who knows whether it'll be on the same format, but if we are, I hope I won't give Jason quite so many problems in helping get me on this time. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The meeting is adjourned. Talk to everybody
Aye.
on the 7th.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.